All my life I have so many strange stories and this is one of them. In order to come to the United States as a refugee, you have to have a close relatives in the United States. And there's family members in my husband's family who moved to United States, and actually I didn't know much about it. They were not telling me anything. So they applied for my husband's parents to come to United States with his other brother's family. And my parents-in-law lived in Belarus, and their other son lived in Moscow. So when our paperwork, but in the paperwork they were supposed to show every single family member, so they had our names and our place of residence, which is Belarus as well. So when Washington Processing Center took this case and they realized why family from Moscow wants to come with parents in Belarus, and they crossed over, they just crossed out my husband's brother family from Moscow and entered our family on the list. So one night I got a phone call from my father-in-law saying, "Hi, we got the paperwork to fill out and we are going to United States." And my parents at that time visited my grandma in Israel. So I called them and I said, "What do I do? It's strange, I really don't want to leave to United States." And my dad said, "No, just go." So my husband and I filled out paperwork. Between invitation and the time we came here, I think it was like a year. And here we are in the United States. My husband, 2 of my kids, his parents, and me, 6 of us. And I was the only one who spoke a little English. And I was scared. I was really scared. I really didn't want to go. But I thought it will be better for my kids, because as a Jewish person, I had a lot of negative stuff going around. We used to have desks assigned to every single person. We didn't move from one classroom to another classroom. We had one assigned room and one assigned desk. So some people just engrave on my desk, "It's not your place in Tel Aviv." When I had my first child, intern from medical school, it was a male, and when I was in pain, he was telling me, "Don't cry, if you don't like it here, go to Israel." I have to tell you, when I was taking a bath, I was covering my nose, because they were saying that you can figure out the person is Jewish by his or her nose. So I was covering my nose. I was scared. My dad, he brought me a Jewish star when we were back in Russia, and I wore it, but I wore it under my skirts, my shirts. And when I came here, it was the first time I wore it on top of it. It was very difficult because I was leaving behind my parents and my brother with his family. I could not stop crying. I just cried and cried and cried. And again, I had a decent job. I wasn't able to move up on my job. And I've been told that if I will not be a Jewish person, I will have a higher position, but because I'm Jewish, I will not be able to do it. Nevertheless, I liked my co-workers, and it was hard. Yeah, it was very hard. It was scary. We came late at night. Our plane landed at 12 a.m. and we had our case manager from Jewish family and director of the resettlement department who met us at the airport. And I knew that my parents were very worried about us. So the first thing I asked the case manager, and she was a Russian-speaking lady, I asked her to find a place for me to buy a phone card and call my parents. She refused. She said, "You can do it tomorrow." So to make a long story short, it took me 20 minutes with a lot of crying to explain to my case manager that I need to make a phone call now and I need to go to the store and buy this card. So director of the resettlement department, he just took me to his office and let me make a phone call to my parents at 1:30 a.m. And the next morning we woke up by ourselves. We didn't know anybody, didn't know anything. I was even scared to go outside. And my husband wanted to walk and see what is there. And I said, what if we will not be able to find our way back home? When we came here, and as I said, it was 2 children, my husband and 2 in-laws, and nobody spoke any English, so I picked it up quick because I had to do everything. Yes, yes I am. Right. I don't want to go back. I don't want to. Actually, we went back once. My kids and I and my parents and my brother's family, we went back 6 years ago. It was a different country. It was very difficult place to stay even for 2 weeks. People were very difficult to communicate with, even though we spoke the same language. First of all, I'm sorry, but we had to take toilet paper, bathroom paper with us because we believed that there would not be a good one there. And then when we were buying stuff and we came with money from here and people there were staying in lines and couldn't buy even the simplest stuff like sour cream or sausages, and we were buying for 9 people, actually for 13 people, and amount we bought and amount they were trying to, I mean it's very difficult, and they didn't look nice at us, and so it's very different. It depends, but maybe in the beginning when they don't know, they're trying to have a distance. But then when they know you better, and especially if you tell them some that you went through, they understand. I have to say that it depends on the person, it's him or herself. If you are positive and you want to find your ways around, you will be able to. But if you always negative and I mean nobody will bring anything to you on the plate, you have to earn everything. So if you want to do it, you can do it and you'll be fine.